welcome back to Pointless History, the show where we look through the brilliant but forgotten bits of history that are, nevertheless, completely pointless.
This episode we're actually just looking at the most badass final words of all time.
This time we're looking at the words that if people could go back and die again, they would absolutely change nothing about what they said before they left Earth.
Right, so the first one I've got is Giles Corey, and he was sentenced for being a witch in the 1800s in America, and he was sentenced to be crushed to death, so just put a wooden platform on and just repeatedly put stones on him until he was crushed. So as he was doing it, he was given his chance to have his final words, obviously to repent to God, and his final words were just more weight, which they did, and they killed him. But I thought that was pretty cool. It's quite a badass way to go out. Just like, no, I am not.
This is not good enough for me.
Nah, more weight.
My starting last words almost make sense. It's just the words of Captain Lawrence of the Robert Scott Arctic Expedition. They're some of the most famous last words in history, but they're not even funny. I just think they're fantastic.
No,
last words.
Badass, yeah.
And basically the situation was that they weren't going to make it back, and they knew that. And he thought maybe if he sacrificed himself, the others would have enough food and rations to get all the way back. And so the last words he said before leaving the tent were, "I'm just going outside. I may be sometime." It's just a fantastically British way to go.
It's like,
this complete gent, I shall step aside.
Lads, go for it. Live on.
He played a fantastic man. He did that for the rest of his crew. Sorry, that wasn't funny, but interesting.
Just badass. My next one I've got is actually funny, but I don't know why. I just thought it was absolutely incredible. Joseph Wright was a man who edited the dictionary, and he lived and died by the dictionary because his final, apparently there was no sentence, it wasn't like a full-on thing he said. His final word was just dictionary, and I think that's brilliant.
Dictionary.
As I said, he lived and died by it. I can imagine he's got his hand, like his wife's hand, and it's just like dictionary and died.
Do you think she was quite pissed off? I've loved you your entire life. I've made food for you every night, and you still just want the fucking dictionary.
I think it would be, because I mean, you would expect him to have a decent vocabulary if he's been edited.
It's true. It's true. You'd expect him to have a fantastic last word.
You think it would be poetic.
Dictionary. That's quite brilliant though, that he genuinely lived and died by it.
He's a good guy.
The next, I think one of my favourite last words of all time comes from Irish nationalist Robert Erskine Church, who was executed in 1922 by a firing squad for his role in the Irish Civil War. And before the firing squad took their shot, he said to them, "Take a step forward, lads, it'll be easier that way." Which I just love. Just absolutely taking the piss at the foot up to kill you.
Such a good guy.
Is he? Did you know?
No, yeah.
Is he a good guy?
I was a good guy.
I'm glad. It's good to do a history show with a Time Lord. Just every time they know the answer.
It's a good guy. My final one I've left it for because I think it's absolutely incredible. Spike Milligan, who was a poet, really famous through the 1900s, but his final words were incredible. He looked around his entire family as he was on his deathbed and just said to all of them, really angry, "I told you I was ill." And then just died instantly after that, which I think is incredible, that he was just like, you know what, I told you that I was ill.
I was right. I was right my whole life.
None of them helped him, and they were just like, "Nah, you're alright, man, it's just a cold." But
it is brilliant. My last one comes from Thomas More, who was an English philosopher at the time of Henry VIII, and he was tried for treason in 1535 because he refused to annul Henry VIII's marriage. I mean, he's probably completely in the right, because Henry was well-known bastard. However, when he was on the guillotine to have his head cut off, his final words were, "This hath not offended the king." He was referring to his beard, something neither of us have, and he put it on the block so that his beard would not be damaged when his head was cut off, because he believed his beard had done nothing wrong to offend the king, and therefore did not deserve to be affected. Which is brilliant. I mean, if either of us, if we could grow beards, I'm sure we'd be very proud of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mine looks like pubes, and you don't have facial hair.
Nah, not really.
Not
but
really.
I quite like that, because that's pretty much the exact opposite of Samson. Just like his beard is the strength.
I will go out with my beard.
It's a power
to the
beard.
very end. And again, this got us thinking. Last time we discussed what we'd really not want our last words to be. So this time we were thinking about what would we want our last words to be.
Oh shit! Scientology was right.
Oh, it was 43. Thank you very much for watching. Join us on Friday. We have a completely different format of show, which I know you guys are absolutely going to love because it's going to be fantastic. It's going to be slightly insane, but nevertheless enjoyable and pointless.
Yep, so again, it's the last time, brand new channel, so please give us a like if you enjoyed it, and subscribe as well, because we are going to be bringing out a lot more videos, and we're going to be doing it constantly through the weeks.
Yes, regularly, Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays.
Feel free, please give us a like and subscribe.
And if you didn't enjoy it, like and subscribe. And maybe we'll, just maybe, be able to raise enough money to get a non-squeaky chair. Yep.